Welcome back to War Thunder Weekly News. This week, Gamescom happens, and Gaijin threw out a whole lot of stuff that I'm gonna have to cover. They started the event off with a announcement of what the next patch is, 1.71, new E.R.A, or new E.R.A, which is a pun on explosive reactive armor and the word E.R.A. They said that they're going to have 3 streams, 2 Russian, 1 American. Oddly enough, they decided to have the American stream on the earliest time. They should have done it later, so that way more of America would have been generally awake, or whatever. And below that, they had kind of a summary of the things that they're going to go over during Gamescom. Now, it included talking about Cold War vehicles and Vietnam vehicles, with things like composite armor and explosive reactive armor. And they quickly ran over this thing. They said new infantry support mechanics will join combat. I haven't actually heard them talk anything about this new infantry support mechanic, so who knows what that could be. Before we get into the vehicles that were revealed during the streams, they had kind of an overview of everything that they went over and answered some questions that people were asking. I'm not going to go over every single question because there's a lot of them. This would make the video take forever, but I'll cover a few that I thought were interesting. The first question I wanted to go over was, should we expect some features such as reactive armor to be implemented in existing vehicles? And the reply was actually more of just dodging the question. Implementing such protections, both passive and reactive armors, increase the tank's efficiency and, of course, affects balance. This is why introducing such modifications will be done for balancing perspective and an according increase of BR. This is just them dodging the question. I would assume if it historically had reactive armor, they would give it reactive armor. Like the Type 87, the Japanese top tier SPAG, has not reactive, but composite armor in the lower front plates. I would assume that they'd give it to that. It wasn't exactly impressive. It's not going to stop 120mm tank cannon. Another question people have been asking a lot about: do you plan to add helicopters like in the April Fool's event this year? The reply was yes. It is possible that Rank 6 aviation will be represented by helicopters that have interesting gameplay in combined battles. There is no final answer or list with strike aircraft at the moment. We haven't run all the necessary internal tests yet. I personally think helicopters would be a great thing. They won't exactly be OP. People love shooting them down in battlefield, so you can guarantee that they would be shot at here with tank cannons and machine guns. SPAs wouldn't have too much trouble shooting at them. The issue is that they'd be firing ATGMs from the air, possibly rather far away. Why I brought this up? Because it kind of carries 2 questions. What about Rank 6 aviation? They don't have any plans for Rank 6 aviation as of yet. Well, I guess they're thinking about putting helicopters there. Personally, I think that having Rank 6 aviation be dedicated to helicopters is a terrible idea. There's plenty of people who would love to use jets that had dedicated air-to-air missiles and whatnot. Having it be something that wouldn't even be able to function in regular RB battles would be a real fuck you to the aviation enthusiasts that play this game. There's plenty of people who don't bother playing tanks because that's just their prerogative. I like tanks. I think air helicopters should be in the game. They should not be Rank 6. Terrible idea. Rank 6 should be jets with first generation air-to-air missiles. And the last question I wanted to go over, I personally was interested in primarily because I have the Panther 2 and it would affect Panther 2. Will there be thermal sight / night vision devices? We will decide after we create some prototypes and test night battles with these devices. It would be kind of fun to have it in game. It wouldn't be put into use much because we never have night battles, but yeah. Besides that, this page also had something that they called their plan, or our plan, as they worded it. Most of it was really boring stuff. You should probably read it anyways. One of the things they mentioned is how the economy, it wasn't intended to have a 6th rank of anything. So the way that they're going to deal with this is there's not going to be a drastic increase in research points required to get these new vehicles. They're going to be rather similar to the rank 5 ones, but I think they're going to be a bit higher. To me, it doesn't totally matter because I'm probably never going to get any of these vehicles. I got one German ATGM launcher and I was like, I don't care anymore. There has been quite a few Q&As in various different places, but most of those questions have been answered on the last few pages that I went over. I think the most important thing that we need to keep in mind, though, is that as of current, the rank 6 is only for tanks, only for Russia, America, and Germany. Now, upon learning this, there was quite a lot of annoyance with Gaijin, but if you think about it, those are the only tech trees that are so sort of complete. Japan only has 4 vehicles at rank 5 anyways, so having a rank 6 would be weird. Also, Gaijin made a video kind of going over what the new types of armor are and how they function. The most important details that I took away from this is that composite armor is 100% better than explosive reactive armor because composite armor cannot be shot off. Apparently, even 50 caliber machine guns and HE shells can remove a lot of your explosive reactive armor. The vehicles revealed during the stream, quite a few of them got DevBlogs, so I'll just go over those first. The T-64A, they called it the pioneer of the new era. T-64 is actually a very well-known and very destructive tank. It has a 125mm smoothbore cannon, and from what I've been reading, if it was hull down facing forward, just about no other tank in game would be able to penetrate it. The model that they're putting in game has these weird flap thingies on the side that are supposed to help while angling, like a heat shell or whatever will hit one of those instead of the tank and not be effective at all. Cool idea. I'm surprised it took them that long to think it up. Like, imagine if you had those on a Tiger or whatever. They're just like flaps of metal. 40 kilometers per hour off-road. Apparently on roads it could go 60, but you'll probably never get there. And its upper glacis apparently had an effective thickness of 450 millimeters, which is very thick. Anyways, I won't go over this tank too much. People probably know a lot about it, a lot more than I do. For America, there is the Type 60 A1 Rise P, or passive or whatever. It's a M50 A1 but covered in explosive reactive armor. I don't think it has any composite armor, although I don't know for sure. It puts this directly at a disadvantage compared to the T-64. I mean, the T-64 could just lob a heat shell and then whatever type of other shell and destroy this thing. Though of the devblog down in the comments, it was confirmed that the M60 would be able to shoot armor-piercing, fin-stabilized discarding sabot. The M735 round, which I heard could penetrate the T-64 frontally. I don't know. I'm not a tank expert, but personally I think this is a very cool looking tank. I'm looking forward to wishing I had it. For Germany and America actually is the KPz-70 or MBT-70. This was a prototype tank. I'm sure lots of people know a lot about it. It was being worked together by West Germany and the United States to make some awesome tank that killed the T-64. They gave it a 152mm cannon that can fire a host of random shells, including an ATGM. I believe it had some sort of composite armor that I had no idea. But what should be known about the tank is that the only difference between the Kampfpanzer and the MBT is that the German one had a engine with a stronger horsepower, but only by not even 100, like 30 more horsepower, so you're not really going to see any difference in game. And I believe the American one used a faster reloading mechanism. They were both used auto loaders of some weird sort, but they both used the same cannon. There's a myth, or not really a myth, apparently there was plans to give the German one a 120mm cannon, but that never actually got put onto the tank, so Gaijin's saying no on that one. Although, perhaps in the future when they want to add more things, we will get that eventually. One of the cooler factors of this tank is there is a 20mm turret on top of it. Although in the rendered screenshots it showed the turret stowed away. I think it's just like that for aesthetics. Although there was also a video, apparently the American one was missing the gun altogether. It's still rather early, so I think we should calm down about the gun not working or working. It will be there. Another vehicle for the US, the M50 Ontos. I believe it would be a light tank or infantry support. I don't know. Basically, it's some weird pyramid looking thing with 106 recoilless rifles on it and 450 cals for range finding. It had a hoist of different types of ammunition. I'm not sure what ones are going to be modeled in game, but I believe it's used the same shells as the Japanese tank with recoilless rifles that is currently in game. I totally forgot the name of that. SPRG, that's it. People were speculating this is also going to be a tier 6, but I don't entirely think so. I think this is going to be a tier 5 because the Japanese one is only at 6.7, and of course it only has 2 recoilless rifles. But this one, while it has 6, isn't exactly a whole step up. It also has no armor, so I'm thinking it's going to be like at max 8.0, probably like 7.7 or 7.3. There was also a new map revealed, a post-war map, Fulda Gap, or whatever, some place in Germany. Apparently World War III would have taken place here, according to Gaijin. Anyways, this map is very different than the current map because it's rather modern. There's wind turbines. I don't know, it just seems kind of out of place for War Thunder, although there's been 1980s tanks since Japan. Anyways, this map looks pretty cool. There's a castle that you can drive into. I really want to see a plane fly into one of the wind turbines. Really, that's actually what all I care about this map. I'm probably going to do it myself. I wonder though if we're going to see this on lower tiered games. Like if I'm driving a Tiger around, am I going to also be able to drive into those wind turbines? And is it going to be cut up like Port Novaraski? Regardless, it looks like a nice map. There was also quite a few other vehicles that were shown off that didn't get DevBlogs yet. So first off, we have the Be-6 is a Russian flying boat bomber. And according to the Wikipedia, it could carry 2 torpedoes, something called general ordnance, I assume just bombs, or 8 mines. It doesn't give any exact weight. I'm assuming it's going to be 2,000 pounds of stuff. They're generally around there. And also was protected by 5 23mm cannons and 3 remotely controlled turrets. Had 1 turret in the front armed with 1 23mm, 1 turret in the mid-body section on top with 2 23mm, and the final turret looks a lot like an IL-28 tail with 2 23mm. It's probably going to be rather high up thanks to that extremely defensive armament. There's also a post-war boat plane. There's also the XA-38 Grizzly. I believe I've already covered this thing because it was speculated that it would be the top tier prize for the Operation Summer. Anyways, it was armed with 1 75mm cannon with, I believe, rather good performance but not amazing, and 2 defensive turrets armed each with 2 50 caliber machine guns and 2 50 calibers to accompany the 75. Its speed isn't amazing, going around 559 kilometers per hour, and I haven't found any confirmation this thing isn't going to be a premium. I'm assuming it's going to be right after the PBJs on the tree. The British are going to get the Havilland Hornet, which is a heavy fighter or twin engine fighter. This thing's going to be rather high up on the tree, having apparently a top speed of 764 kilometers per hour, and armed with 4 20mm cannons, and could carry 1,000 pounds of bombs or 8 unguided rockets. So this thing is going to make ground forces even less comfortable. We could all assume where this is going to go on the tree, right after that other heavy fighter that I've totally forgot the name of. The final one I have that has not received a devblog yet, I've actually also already gone over because it was heavily speculated at, the BMP-1. I believe I talked about this in my last video, so I'm not going to go over it again. But we have a rendered photo of it. During the stream in which these vehicles were shown, the CEO of Gaijin Entertainment, Anton, however you say his last name, did kind of a Q&A for the first day, and he answered some questions. Most of them were kind of, I can't answer that, and I'm not going to speculate because it'll throw people off. And a lot of the other ones have already been answered in that Q&A section that I talked about in the beginning. But one of the things he did say, he talked about the MiG-21, which kind of gave people the impression, oh man, we're going to get the MiG-21. And he made a Reddit post saying, no, the MiG-21 is not confirmed, which I personally was not surprised about because it was just speculation talk. But once again, they are testing out air-to-air missiles apparently. So we may actually find it come out, I would assume next year if we're going to do this for aircraft too. And as a final bit of news, I actually found this on, I think last Sunday. There's CDK photos of the ME410s with finally a YouTuber by the name of MikeGoesBoom did his own recap video. According to him, that in about 10 days or so, there's going to be a major update, which could mean a variety of things. He apparently got this from some sort of insider. And apparently there's going to be, and the way he put it, freedom is coming back, which I say in return, when did freedom ever leave? This has led some people to speculate that the P51H, the best P51, is going to be announced. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you did not enjoy the video, hit the dislike button. If you want to see more, I make these every Sunday. Well, I don't put them out Sunday. I make them Saturday night, Sunday morning. So click that subscribe button if you want to see them in your feed. If you want to be notified when exactly I put them out, you can hit that bell icon, and you should get a little notification whenever one is released. If you had any comments, concerns, or if I missed anything, hit me in the comments below. I'm still luckily at the low subscriber count where I can still read each individual comment that happens. And anyways, I hope you have a great day.